Okay.
All right,
So welcome
and we are
everyone.
on.
We're
Yes,
on.
she did chat episode 2.
Here we are. Here we are. Dr. Reeder,
Well, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Tashina Reeder. I'm director of the Community Health Training Alliance, and with me is
Kyle Shrivasta. I am the programs manager at the Community Health Training Alliance, and we are super stoked and happy to have Assata Thomas, from the director of the Institute for Community Justice. Assata, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what ICJ does?
yes.
Sure. Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here. So, as stated, I am Assata Thomas. I am the director at the Institute for Community Justice. And what we do here at ICJ is our acronym. And what we do here is support folk who have been impacted by mass incarceration. And so those supports or around various mechanisms that people need when they come home. And so that looks like workforce development, that looks like housing support, that looks like peer mentoring support, and other various supports for persons who are coming home.
Cool. That's a lot. That's exciting. So, how long has ICJ been around?
ICJ has been around, I think about 17 years. I haven't been here all of those 17 years, but I think the number is about 17 years, yes.
Wow, that's awesome. So,
Yes.
I hear ICJ is doing a lot of stuff in the community, and you have some exciting upcoming events coming down the pike. So, talk a little bit about your community involvement, and then talk about what's coming up for you guys next month.
Sure. So we are involved in a bunch of different stuff, but what is most exciting for me right now is the prison summit that we're having, and that has been happening. Yay! That has been happening in person for the last 17 years at the convention center. But obviously, due to COVID, we have pivoted to an virtual summit. And so this October 5th through the 9th, we will be having our virtual Justice and Reentry Summit. And I am super excited about what that is going to look like this time around.
Awesome. So that's it's October 5th through the 9th, right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
your first virtual conference. And so that's exciting. You know, Corona came and everyone had to pretty much pivot in the way in which they work. And so I'm excited about your upcoming conference. So, Cal, any questions about the conference?
Yeah, so I noticed on the description there's this acronym SITE. Can you go into a little more what SITE stands for and how that relates to the work you're trying to do with the Prison Summit, just for our audience members who may want to know?
Of course, absolutely. So since the program is across 5 days, one of my goals was that this prison summit specifically is a call to action. And that call to action is based on where we are as a society, as a world actually living now, in the times that we were living in, that we are living in, and that people are given the opportunity to use their voice. And we have the ability to use our voice in a myriad of ways. And how I use my voice may differ from how someone else uses their voice, but nevertheless, having the opportunity for one to use their voice. And so we broke out the days, each day into a different word. And so the entire word is sight, SIGHT. And so the S is for see. And that is to just really look at and see where we are. And we're going to have different people speaking to that. The keynote on that particular day is District Attorney Larry Krasner, who he is a friend to ICJ, absolutely. And so we're going to be talking to DA Larry Krasner. We are also going to be talking to Chief Public Defender here, Bradford Gray, as well as some other distinguished guests on that day to talk about C, where are we? And then the next letter is I, that is imagine. And that is imagining criminal justice reimagined and what that really is. And frankly, we already know what it is. We don't even have to reimagine it. We just need to begin to implement it. And so I is for imagine. G, that is for grow. And grow is about how we grow together as a community. What are things that we each individually can do? And we are going to be focusing on that day about new systems that are in place due to COVID, and how to move about specifically with the court systems. And there's a seminar that's going to be presented by some folk from the defender's office. And the second half of that is about voting and one's right to vote. And that's going to be conducted by Dennis Febo. And I'm really excited about that because he has a movement called Amend 13. So I'm stoked about them all, but that one is one of the ones that I'm particularly hyped about. So what am I on? What's next? Let me get my spelling right. So G, did I say, no, we said G.
I think it's a G.
I get my spelling together.
That's G. I think you're at H now. You're at
H. Okay. So H is about healing. And we have our very own Dr. Stacy Truskin, who is the Chief Medical Officer here at Philadelphia Fight, as well as one of her colleagues, and talking about healthcare as a right, not a privilege. And that is going to be an amazing topic. And the second half of that day is for healing in terms of emotional healing and what our communities need to heal emotionally, and what that is and what that means. And then finally, I'm on T, right, Tashi and Dr. Rita? Okay, I'm getting my spelling together. Okay, and then finally on Friday, it's together. And Friday is probably the most exciting seminar, webinar for me. That is, we're going to be speaking with Tyree Wallace. He is a co-founder of Man Up Association, who we work with very closely here. Man Up is an organization that was founded at SCI Phoenix, in which men are empowered to come out and be different and change agents in the community. And he is also currently represented by the Pennsylvania Innocence Project. He is a wrongly convicted man who has been incarcerated for 22 years and 7 months. And we will be hearing from him from behind the walls. And if you can listen to none of them, but this one, this is the one that I would recommend folks to really listen to hear his voice and really put some power behind justice. If we're talking about justice, he is the poster person for what justice is not happening right now for him. And so I am really excited about the entirety of the summit and all of the folk who we have intentionally invited to be a part of the summit.
Yeah, you guys have an awesome lineup, and I know that you've been sending out emails, marketing, the upcoming summit. And so if you guys who are watching, feel free to make some comments or ask questions to Ms. Thomas if you like. If you're watching, ask questions about the summit. But with regards to the summit, I know that you have an art gallery, Art as Resistance Gallery.
Yes,
right? And in 2018, when we were at the convention center, oh my gosh, the artwork was simply amazing. Like, seriously, it was really amazing. And then I think in 2019, you had another art demonstration at ICJ. And when I tell you the artwork is mind-blowing, but it also evokes emotions within you when you see the story that's being told through the art. It is touching, but it also opened your eyes to, what's the struggle of those individuals and even the victories many of them may have experienced. And so, and can you speak to this year's Art as Resistance Gallery?
Absolutely. So of course this year with the pivot, it looks a little differently, but it's going to be featured throughout the days of the conference. And the artwork is from persons who either have been impacted by incarceration or who have this desire and purpose to display their art as it relates to social justice. We have in particular one, a young lady, she's 17 years old, Alexis Rogers, who is a daughter of a friend of mine, and her work is amazing. She's only 17 years old, but this grasp that she has of the current space and times that we're living in is totally amazing. So she's one of the featured artists, as well as friend to ICJ, Suave, we all know Suave and the amazing work that he does. And so there are others who will be featured throughout the course. So every day we'll feature some artist resistance. And also not just artwork, as it were, painting or portraits. We're also going to be having some um, persons who will be doing spoken word. And we will also have another performance by sisters. I can't think of the full name, it just eluded me, forgive me, but that is on Monday where they're going to be doing a performance as well. So artist resistance doesn't just come in the form of art as we think about it, paint, but art comes in so many different formats, and we're looking to really present those as well during the course.
Okay, awesome. Any viewer comments, Kyle?
No comments at the moment.
No comments. All right. So Assata, people who will be watching this, because it's going to be, it's recorded, they may have questions about how can I attend this prison summit, this virtual conference? Is it free and all of that? Can you kind of explain that process of how they could attend?
Absolutely. So the conference is 100% free, no charge. You can go on fight.org and click on upcoming events, and all of the webinars are listed there. You can click on the ones that you feel are appropriate for you and register there. But everything is free, fight.org, upcoming events.
Yes, we're excited. I've already registered for the plenary, right? Speaking of which, the plenary is jam-packed. So I'm excited about what's to come on day one, and so I will definitely be tuning in. Kyle, you have any questions for Ms. Thomas?
Yeah, I'm excited about the one focusing primarily on healthcare. And I just kind of want to pick your brain. What does it mean when you say healthcare is a human right? What do you mean by that?
Great question. So 25.6 million people did not have health insurance last year, and more than 18,000 people per year die of causes that are preventable. And so when you think about that, that is why is that happening? That is because healthcare is a basic human right. And although it's a basic human right, it is not afforded to everybody. It's not an across the board, as you know, thing that is afforded to everybody. And so the right that exists is a responsibility of the state to make sure that they are enforcing this right of attainable, same standard healthcare. And so this all intertwines as we speak about it. This intertwines into COVID and the amount of deaths that have happened to persons of color because of lack to access of care, because they have these already underlying issues. And so when you put that on top of the COVID, on top of that, folk are dying who necessarily didn't have to, but they didn't have the basic standard of care or care period. So healthcare as a right and not a privilege is something that all states, we need to hold our elected officials accountable so that everyone has the same access and standard of care.
Wow.
Awesome. Couldn't agree more. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about it more at the session. Correct?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, yeah. I'm sure.
You did mention earlier too about another session specific to voting. I know everybody, there's a lot of push about people voting, registering early, and in some states people are already voting. And so will this webinar just be a webinar, or will it be offering resources around voting and informing people how and where to vote? Can you talk a little bit about that workshop?
Yep, great question. And so it is going to be about voting, period, but then there's going to be some specific instruction on how to vote for Pennsylvania, because I'm expecting this is going to be a national webinar, right? So we're going to talk about for Pennsylvania what that looks like specifically here, but also on a national spectrum, what folks need to be prepared to do in order to vote, voting early, getting your ballot. If you're like me and like to stand in line and vote to make sure my vote is counted, what to be prepared for. Also to ensure that you are registered to vote. because I have had some communication with folk who they voted in prior elections, but when they went to go look to see if they were registered to vote, they weren't registered. And so all of these barriers and voter suppression that are in place, we're going to speak to that.
Awesome. That's exciting. So you
Yeah.
have a robust program of different, topics that's really pertinent to, what's the trendy thing that's happening in our world today. And so I'm excited about your upcoming conference. I know there's a lot of work that's been put into it, and so I'm sure you two are equally excited about it happening. Anybody chiming? Anybody got questions out there who's watching? Any thoughts? If you're on, send us some hearts. Like what you're hearing. Send some hearts. So push the like buttons. We know you're there. It'll be cool to see some like buttons or some heart buttons or some smiley faces. So we know you're in the house. All right. But this video will be recorded and uploaded on our Facebook page. You can always ask questions once you're able to see the video. And if you have questions, we'll be sure to provide them to Assata so she can answer them if it's specific to her summit. And so we're excited. Thank you for being our guest on our Cheetah's Chat episode 2. We're excited to have you.
All right. I got to see what the number 2 means. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Reeder and Kyle, for having me and just for your great support in really getting this done and filling in the gaps. We are so appreciative as a whole, ICJ as a whole. So thank you all. We're looking forward to the 5th. I think my greatest challenge is, Dr. Reeder, you kind of alluded to this, it's a power packed on Monday. And so getting everybody to stay to their allotted time, because we have some powerful speakers. And so I think that's my greatest challenge during the week, but certainly looking forward to it. And just thank you all for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Any last words before we close out?
No, I'm just excited for the whole program, and that's fight.org, correct?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Fight.org, upcoming events.
Fabulous.
Cool.
Thank
I think
you.
next time we have our next Cheetah Chat, we should add some music to the background as we
Okay.
But thank you all. Thank you all for watching. You guys have a great day. And until our next chat, be safe.
Thank you all. Have a good day.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye-bye.